Hello, and welcome to Hong Kong FinTech Week 2022. I'm Maaike Steinebach, and I lead the Hong Kong and Macau team at Visa. Empowering digital commerce, developing new and innovative payment solutions, and creating new opportunities for Hong Kong businesses is a big part of Visa's DNA. Part of this includes working with our partners, like merchants, to learn from consumers so that we can continue to evolve as the leading digital payment network and adapt to consumers' changing needs. With consumers having so many choices out there, loyalty doesn't come easily. And besides from competing on price and convenience, we have to constantly consider the following 3 points. Number 1, how do we keep customers coming back in such a competitive market? Number 2, what are the financial and non-financial rewards we should think about? And number 3, what are the insights and foresights that we need to have in order to win the hearts of consumers in the digital-first era? As part of Hong Kong FinTech Week's Masterclass series, Visa has invited a special guest to tell us about her journey to customer success. Welcome, Anujri. It's so nice to have you here today.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
So it's great that we have with us today Anujri Khosla. So she's one of the key executives that helped with the launch and support for the DFI YUU loyalty program. So Anujri has extensive experience in launching loyalty programs across Asia, but also in supporting CRM as a consultant. Welcome, Anujri. It's so exciting to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's exciting to be here.
Yeah, so as one of the key things that I wanted to kick off with you, obviously everybody in Hong Kong knows the YUU song that we've been able to listen to for the last 2 years. It's a big success. You're across 2,500 stores, I think 40 plus merchants. Tell us a little bit, what does the YUU universe look like today? And how do you feel about its launch so far? And what are some of the key challenges that you've seen?
Yeah, I think all of us at DFI are immensely proud of everything we've accomplished with you. So it was originally meant to be you, right? And we didn't realize only later with the song where George and Alex refer to it as YUU. And then what happened was our store team members were obviously listening to the song 24/7, right? And in their mind, suddenly it just became YUU. So they started to act and ask customers, do you have YUU? And so what started out as you has become YUU, and I think we all love it, and we're so proud of everything that we've managed to achieve. And I think the commitment and the effort from everyone, whether it's the partners or the banners or the team that we have at DFI on You, has worked very, very hard to make this special for our customers as well as our teams. So we're now kind of bringing in a lot more services into this to make it a wider ecosystem play. So yeah, we're all very excited and very proud of what we've achieved.
Yeah, congratulations. And we are very proud to, at Visa, to have been partnering with you on this program and just in general for our partnership we've been having with DFI for the last 10 years. But you mentioned something really interesting about your demographic of 4 million customers. So obviously a lot of people talking about Gen Z and millennials,
yeah.
But obviously a lot of your users are very diversified across all different segments. So what are you doing to kind of not only engage and acquire, but in particular for some of these Gen Z and digital native consumers, how are you looking to engage with them?
Yeah, I think first up, DFI and all of the brands are by definition inclusive. So when we first thought about setting up this program, there was a lot of hesitation about being a digital only or a digital first program, because when we first started thinking about it, it was still the time of plastic cards and memberships. And so fundamentally, DFI and JM, the brands are for everybody, and therefore the program is for everybody. But I think there are different aspects that we have thought through as we have gone on to design the program. Yep. Because obviously, we do have all kinds of people and age groups in the program. So we've tried to keep it, I wouldn't say general, because I think that becomes generic, but I think there is something in the program for everybody. For example, if you think of the classic loyalty program approach, right, like airline miles programs, you kind of save for several months, sometimes even years, and then you get to a flight ticket. Now, we recognize that consumers today, and particularly some of our younger consumers, don't really want to save up for years. So one of the key changes that we made to the program design when we launched You was that we're going to have low value frequent redemptions, right? And that is the 100 points Slurpee and, you know, the 200 points fried chicken and so on and so forth. So I think as a program then, the mechanics have been almost tweaked when you think of classic loyalty programs to make it more relevant to today. And I think it's not just young versus old. I think in general, everybody's become a bit more about instant gratification. There are other areas that we're looking at, for example, like stamps, where, you know, we've got You stamps, which is a very powerful instant gratification kind of here and now program. So I think we've been able to blend the old and the new, which is actually kind of what DFI is and our brands are as well.
Yeah, it's great to hear, because we also realize at Visa that young people and millennials are really looking for flexibility in many ways, but actually older generation, whilst they also like flexibility, they really want usability. So they want to have a seamless user experience, which I think at the end is what we all want, right? Whether we're young or old. And I think that personalization and that customization, or at least perceived customization of the experience, is just super, super important. So one of the things that could actually help with that is obviously data. We talk a lot about big data, but actually it's any kind of data these days that can help create that more personalized and customized experience. Now, looking at the moment, your program has around 50% coverage of the Hong Kong population, right? So how are you looking at customer relationship management, and how are you harnessing, let's say, these insights that you have gained over the last 2 years?
Right. I think there's two areas that I want to emphasize on over here. The first one is simplicity, right? And you rightly said that no matter what demographic, what age, I think people want a simple and seamless user experience. And I think one of the key tenets that we're looking to strengthen in our program in the coming months is how do we make it really, really simple for our customers to use, whether it's loyalty or e-commerce. So I think coming to data, I think, you know, as you rightly said, we've got 50% of Hong Kong households, and we've got a lot of, you know, shopping information about customers. And I think just for that reason, we take this very, very seriously, because we feel that, you know, customers are engaging with us through our loyalty program and sharing their data with us, and therefore we've got to be very responsible and almost intentional in how we use it. So when we think of harnessing data, how we think of it is we want to use this information that our customers are giving us about themselves to make their life simpler and better, right? So data for the sake of data is just not how we look at it. So if I am shopping, then, you know, my shopping behavior is telling you something about me. It's telling you what I like, what I don't like, what I want to buy, and how do we use all of this then to come back to me as the consumer with more relevant, more personalized, more targeted offers. And so again, it becomes simple for me. And so simplicity and kind of personalization to us go hand in hand, and that's how we're looking at it. Obviously, this takes time because you know, a program needs to mature, data needs to mature, but yeah, we're absolutely on this path, well on this path today, I think.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting because we know everything about obviously data and analytics. We've been doing machine learning for the last 15 years to analyze data and create different insights and foresights around consumers' needs and wants. So we recognize a lot of the challenges that you have and opportunities. On the one hand, you know, to acquire new clients, to retain them, but also to increasingly to look at, you know, what ways are there to activate, let's say, dormant or inactive users going forward?
Yeah, I think it's very simple, right? If the program or the proposition is not relevant to members, they will go dormant. I mean, in Hong Kong, particularly with our program, it's very difficult to even spend one day without coming across one of our brands, right? So, and as you said, right, acquisition is important. Retention, I think, is even more important, particularly now. It's so much more expensive to acquire customers, and there's so much competition, right? So I think we remain very focused on keeping our customers active. I think we've got very high retention rates, and the reason for that is not just, you know, people stay, but we work pretty hard in terms of conceptualizing, planning a lot of activities and campaigns for customers. So whenever, I think rarely a fortnight will go by without a U promotion. So we're also on our toes to make sure that customers stay engaged.
So you mentioned two interesting things that I would like to come back as. One is just around your CRM, but the second thing is also that you have an ongoing range of offers going, which means you also have ongoing collaboration and partnership opportunities, be it with people in your own ecosystem, outside of that, banks, fintechs. How are you looking at all these opportunities and how are you capitalizing on them?
I think, you know, fundamentally, a coalition program like ours, it exists because of partners, right? Partners like our banners, partners like the credit card partners, and like yourselves. So I think partnering with these key brands is something which is very central to our proposition. We have been pretty clear and focused that we will be a universe of famous brands, a universe of top-of-mind brands. So I think we will want to hold that true because that is very close to our heart in terms of the kind of partners we have. Of course, we always want to expand the proposition, make it more useful for customers. So we do look at partnerships on an ongoing basis. I think from financial partnerships, we do value our partnership with y'all as well as our bank partner. And so I think we kind of stay quite committed and loyal. But yes, it is important to keep expanding the proposition for customers. Otherwise, people get bored quite easily these days, right? So we've got to keep innovating and keep planning new things.
Well, I mean, we also like to continue to innovate together with you. We're super excited on some of the work that we're doing in the cybersource space and looking continuously at solutions around security, data usage, and just look for different ways to collaborate. It's a little bit like a marriage, right? So you get to keep on working on it.
Yeah, I think you've got to. And I think on that point, you know, I think we feel that we've got the best and very trusted partners, particularly on the back end of things. So people like myself, we're razor focused on making the program great for the customers, knowing that, you know, there are lots of partners and lots of systems and processes that have us covered from a compliance and security standpoint. So I think it works quite well that way.
Yes. So as part of innovation and continuous improvement, you also recently launched the You Give Back program, where you can actually use your U points to donate to charities. I'd love to hear the feedback so far. What are your users thinking about this, and how does this also fit in the wider view on sustainability and loyalty within DFI?
As you being part of the DFI family, what we've done is we have continued the partnership with FoodLink, but we've tried to develop an angle to it that is around you and loyalty. And obviously, you know, using your points for charity or sharing points becomes a logical extension of that. I think as a program, we always like to do things differently. So our interpretation of give back is going to be quite wider, because we believe that you can give back to the community in different ways using points. So this is, I think I'd like to say that this is just the beginning of You Give Back. One of the things that we did in the sense of the partnership with FoodLink is that over the last Mid-Autumn Festival, we developed You Charity Mooncakes. And these were You mooncakes. And we had customers donate their points for these mooncakes, and then we kind of worked together with FoodLink and Welcome, our grocery banner, to distribute these mooncakes. So we're just trying to develop our own identity, but within the broader identity of DFI in this space. So there will be a lot more to come on this area, and I think we're going to be looking at a much deeper 2023 calendar around this. So we've just gotten started, and yes, really looking forward to see how this pans out next year.
I like it. I think it's very important to start driving these kind of initiatives in Hong Kong further. And I love the idea of the You mooncakes.
Yeah, and I think the response from customers was really amazing. And I think within just 3 or 4 days, we did more than 5,000 donations. Of course, the numbers are small in the grand scheme of things. But I think people are also now getting started. We have a whole section on You Give Back on the front of the app that indicates to us how important this is. And I think over time, more and more people will see it and understand it.
Yeah, we have some research that actually says that majority, so about 78% of Hong Kong people are actually willing to make more environmentally friendly purchases if they can actually see what their carbon footprint is as a consequence. And also close to half, so 45% of Hong Kong consumers are actually expecting their service providers to offer eco-friendly payment solutions. So this is something that is only going to grow going forward. So we just talked earlier about how the world is changing and digitization is now becoming part of our everyday life. We're also, of course, seeing kind of new trends coming into the ecosystem around loyalty. So do you want to maybe talk what you feel the next 2 years would look like and how you see the future of YUU as well?
You know, I've been doing this for about 15, 20 years now, and I have seen the evolution from plastic cards, paper forms, coupons in the email, in the snail mail to where we are today. So I do think, yes, a lot is changing, but I think fundamentally, if you really go down to the basics, customer behavior doesn't really change. It's more the channel, the way people communicate, the way they engage. So I think while there is still change, I do think it's very important from an engagement and loyalty program standpoint to not forget the basics, right? That fundamentally a loyalty program or any engagement initiative cannot replace a good product or service, right? Ultimately, your product's got to be good. The program has to resonate with customers. And to the customer, again, it's about simplicity, right? At the outset or on the front end, it's just simple offers, simple rewards that make a lot of sense. So I think I would absolutely echo your sentiment that this is very important because there is obviously so many distractions and competition, right? So
yeah, I think if I could just recap that, I think what you were saying is it's actually about the underlying product which will bring people back. Loyalty is not going to drive people to buy a new product, but is they have a feeling that they have a personalized and tailor-made experience. It makes people much happier and much more content. On the other hand, it's also easier maybe these days to acquire people, but it's so much harder to retain them because there are so many choices and so many options, but also customization. So at least giving the consumer the impression that the experience is tailor-made through them. I think that is also that we are seeing ongoingly in the industry. And I think that for us is very exciting to see that you guys are front-running the future of loyalty.
Thank you so much. It is an exciting space. It's an evolving space. And yeah, hopefully we continue to remain at the forefront of it in the coming years as well.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being here today. We really enjoy being your partners and being able to work with you on such an amazing program, unique to Hong Kong, unique to Asia. And we really appreciate the partnership. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your knowledge with us today.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. As I said at the beginning, our program is about partners. And it is partners like yourselves that help us to give and provide our customers a much richer and more exciting program. It does take a village to raise a child. So, you know, you guys and everybody else that we work with have been instrumental in our success. And hopefully we do continue this partnership for many years to come to make YUU even more engaging and exciting for our customers.
Yeah, thank you. We're very excited about that opportunity.